Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a couple of good ones up my sleeve. Right now I'm just trying to sketch it on. It's going to be the cutest, well I hope so. I'm hoping to go for the cutest little Easter duckling that you ever did see. So I'm just sketching it on real quick with pencil. You're going to be able to follow along once I get my paint out. But this is going to be as easy as I can possibly do it today. I'll try and explain everything and go easy on you. It's going to look a little more realistic than some of the things that I create, but don't get scared. You can do this too. So I'm using moon yellow, and I'm actually going to make 3 different shades. One's just going to be standard moon yellow. Then there's one with a little bit of white. And there's one with a lot of white. So we're going to start off our little duckling. I'm using a little finger sponge, brand new. Never been used this one before. How exciting is that? I love new art supplies. So I'm doing like a base coat on our little ducky. And it's going to be the lightest moon yellow that I created using the most white. And it's okay to go over top of my pencil. I'm going to try and erase the pencil around the outside as much as possible. But everything else I got rid of that I didn't want after I sketched it on. You just erase it. I am using a gorgeous sparkling Santorini stone from Katie on Facebook. The link for her Facebook page where you can see if you can order Santorini stones. She doesn't have a way to collect payment from Canadians, so it's a little bit difficult for her at this point for any of us Canadians. But if you're in the States, I believe she's located in Illinois and she can ship them out to you. They are always wrapped up with so much love and care, and they're so beautiful to paint on. They're like one of my favorite little canvases in the whole wide world. So you can see I've just added some of the regular moon yellow that hasn't been diluted with white. And I'm just putting darker in areas that I think would have a bit of darker feather to it, depending on the shading, where the wing is going down the side of his body. There would be like a lump there, some shading underneath his beak, of course. I might call his feathers hairs throughout this. Please forgive me. In my world, they're hairs because that's what I do them the same way I do hairs. You'll see. So I'm just kind of making sure that I have my eyeball still, making sure I still have my beak. I did go over a little bit of my beak, but I can fix that afterwards. I'm going to work on the eye later. It's going to be very simple, but we're going to bring this little duckling to life. I promise you. So I'm getting back some of the beak that I sponged over, and I've left a nice layer. There's like, you can't see the white rock through my duckling at all. So make sure you have enough paint on your sponge, but not too much. And make sure you're covering everything. Kind of like if you were to put foundation on your face or concealer, you want to use a sponge to blend it in and make it look like it's not even there. So I try and get rid of all of my paint brush strokes and I sponge it all out, and you can blend really easily with sponges. So I love them. They're something that I must have at my desk at all times. These sponges I got from Amazon. There was like a set of 25 or something like that. And it wasn't very expensive, and they last forever. Forever. As long as you rinse them out. I like to put them in a bottle of water and just leave them in there while I'm using them, and then I go rinse them out with soap and water after. So you guys can see I've put some pink on his beak. It's just a nice layer of like regular pink. It's also known as baby pink. But in the folk art world, if you're using acrylic paint by Folkart, it's called baby pink. So I did a nice layer of that pink, but then I also mixed some of that pink in with maple, which sounds really, really weird. Yeah, pink and brown makes darker pink. So just a little bit though. I just want to have a different shade where it might be darker in certain areas. So like for instance, underneath where it's going to be a little bit darker. And his beak isn't perfectly pink. There's some other color in there. So I'm just using a little bit of brown maple. All paint colors will be listed in the description of the video, I promise you, because I don't hold them long enough for people to read what colors I'm using, and sometimes they aren't listening while they're watching, so they don't know when I say it's Baby Pink by Folkart. But please know all the paints that I'm using, all the stuff that I'm using, including my resin tutorial, my fine lining brush tutorial, my blending brush tutorial. Blending brushes are really, really great if you don't have a small sponge. You can make yourself a little blending brush, and it's like a cute little sponge on top of a paintbrush. So I use them all the time, and I share those things with you in every video description. So here's that maple color. No, sorry, this is called real brown now, because we're going to do a little bit of a darker color, and we're going to go around where the beak opens. I didn't want to use black. And then I'm also going to be using that real brown in his eye, along with black. And believe it or not, we're going to do the teeniest amount of gold today. You will see it. It almost makes me sad. But it does what I need it to do. So I'm just going to darken this under here. I'm going to fix that later so it's not looking so bold. But I'm going to find my eye with black paint now. And he's got like a cute little eyelid. So I've got to find that eyelid. And I'm not going to go too crazy on this eye. We're not going to worry about, is it lifelike? Does it look like an eye? Like I'm not going to worry. I'm going to do what I think it looks like to me when I look at a duckling's eye, and I'm going to let it dry and make sure that I sponge out all the paint strokes because we want his eye to look nice and soft. And now he's got like little upside down sesame seed nostrils that we had to put on there. I used the pink mixed with maple to get that nostril area. And he's going to be fuzzy. He's going to be very fuzzy soon because we're going to make him hairy or feathery. Or is it down when they're younger? I'm not even sure, but somebody will tell me. And I'm using my blending brush right now just to highlight a little bit. I guess not. It's not highlighting. I'm putting a little bit of a shadow under his eye there and under his chin. And all I did was add a little bit of maple to my moon yellow. So you can change all your colors. I've changed pink and I've changed yellow. And I'm using the brown in his eye as well. So that's kind of cool. You got to be creative, right? Just do what you think it looks like and go from there. And don't let anybody judge you. I had a couple of people comment lately who have been thanking me for being there with them, like through the pandemic or through some really stressful times. And I have to say, it's you guys who are being there for me. So I want to thank all of you. When life gives you lemons, you're supposed to make lemonade, darn it. But sometimes I don't know how to make lemonade and I feel discouraged. So if you haven't seen much of me lately, I apologize. Life does really get in the way of the things that I love sometimes. And you guys pull me through. All of your comments, letting me know that I'm helping you, letting me know that I'm here for a reason, and thanking me for that. You guys have no idea how thankful I am for each and every one of you. So I appreciate you, and I want you to know that it's from the bottom of my heart, and I have 4 tutorials lined up over the next couple of days. There'll be another Easter one on Monday. Every other day, I'm going to post a new one for the next 4 tutorials. And then I have more that I'm going to be painting in the meantime. So I've got lots of stuff written down and listed up for you guys. And I'm taking all of your suggestions on what you want done. I'm thinking about doing a horse. So for those of you who have been asking, I'm sorry it's taken me so long. But it's one that I'm really considering right now and trying to come up with some good ideas. If you have more ideas for me, make sure you list them in the comments below. I am making him fuzzy. So basically, where I see lighter yellow, I'm putting little hairs of lighter yellow. Where I see the darker shades of yellow that I've sponged on, I'm going to add a few darker yellow ones where I think that they should be seen. But I'm not covering his entire body in the little feathers. I'm just doing it in certain areas. So you can see what colors I'm using, kind of, I guess. If you want, you can try and slow down the video and see exactly where I'm putting the colors. But I'm just going back and forth between all the shades of yellow that I've created today using white and yellow and just regular moon yellow. So I'm just adding, it's really not focusing on anything, but I'm just adding feathers where I think they would be mostly noticeable. So like at the edge of his wing there where it's darker, where I'm working right now, or around the outside of his body for sure, under his chin there, a couple of little sprigs of the lighter color on his cheek where it's a bit lighter. And you can blend them in. If you've gone too much with the regular moon yellow, you can lighten it up with your other shades, add a couple of hairs here and there. But I'm not going crazy with it. I'm not going to make him look like I put him in the dryer and made him all frizzy. He is just going to be a little bit fuzzy here and there. So it just makes him cuter. Makes you cuter when you're fuzzy. That's why I don't shave my legs for my husband for months at a time. Fuzzy is always cuter. So I'm just gonna keep adding hairs while I can, and I'm gonna be adding some grass. I'm gonna be using a couple of different flavors of green today. And of course, I'm going to add some really cute little Easter eggs. He's just found them. Somebody hid them out in the grass, and he's being mischievous, and he's found them, and he's claiming them to be his own. Nobody is taking his Easter eggs that he found. Finders keepers, right? So I've put couple of little hairs on his cheekbone to, define his cheekbone, because that's the times that we're in. And here's the little strip of gold. See that? Right above the black is a little half moon of gold on the underneath of his eye. Then I added a little shine of white on his eye, which you can see a little bit better now. Just a little shine to bring him alive. I still have to work on that beak because that line is bothering me, that bold dark line. But I got to add some grass. So I'm using classic green and thicket. Thicket is the darker one that you're seeing. This is the same as putting little hairs on him, except for I'm being way more careful with the hairs. And it's looking more like grass. Around the body, when I do the hairs, I'm being very careful. But with the grass, I'm being, a little more daring. I'm going a little crazy with it. Some curves here and there. And it's thicker. I have more paint on my brush than what I do when I do his little feathers around his body. So it's same technique, using the same paintbrush. I've used the same paintbrush throughout the whole thing. So it's just knowing how to use it, how to do it. If you're flicking little tiny hairs onto the body, there's a certain movement and quickness that you have to do with it. Also, paint consistency really helps. If your paint's too thick, it doesn't make those cute little fuzzy hairs very well. It might make grass okay, but those little hairs, you need to have not so thick of paint. It just works out a lot better if your paint's not globby and sticky. So I have put on over top of the grass, which is dry, by the way, because if I didn't, my eggs would be green. So basically, I waited for my grass to dry, and I've put on 4 little teeny weeny eggs, and I painted them on first, but now I'm using a sponge to sponge out those brush lines. The paintbrush lines, I just can't stand them sometimes. I don't mind them in like flower petals, or if you want texture for an animal, or certain things need the brush strokes. They need those paintbrush lines. But I want these eggs to look really soft and really delicate and pretty. So I want them no brush strokes. I added a couple more moon yellow hairs to his cheekbone. Didn't want to forget to tell you that. Now I'm going to be picking some Eastery colors to do these eggs. You can choose whatever you want. First one I'm doing is patina. I'm also going to be doing fire coral, I believe, and a really nice medium blue, and of course lavender. And what I am going to do is I start off with sponging on the color. Wait till your white is dry and do 2 coats of white on your eggs and make sure they're dry. Then add your color. It's easier to do an outline around the egg with the color first and then fill it in with a sponge. So I do the outline kind of like the way I used to color in a coloring book. It just helped me to stay in the lines. So I do the outline first, and then I sponge on the inside. And that way I might not go too close to the edge and mess up my beautiful ducky, or overlap onto my grass or anything, because that would be hard to fix. So you got to be really careful and use a small sponge. And if you don't want to use a sponge and you don't mind brush strokes, it'll be a lot easier for you, because paintbrushes fit a lot easier than all sponges, I must say. So now with the lavender, I'm going to be adding the lavender and then the medium blue. And then what I'm going to do is I just kind of lighten the center of the egg a little bit, sponging a little bit of white on it. And it just, to me, I'm just kind of making them softer. I want them to look soft. I don't know why, but I just feel like next to this fuzzy, cute little duckling, he needs some soft, little, delicate, sparkling eggs. And that's just my mind and my crazy. So you do what you want. You can decorate your eggs. You can just do them completely glitter. You can do them glow in the dark, and he's having a midnight Easter egg hunt outside. Totally up to you. You also don't have to do this on a Santorini stone. You can do it on a small canvas that you get at your dollar store. You could do it on paper. You can do it on wood. You could do it on a coaster. It's completely up to you. You don't have to have the same kind of thing that I'm using. You don't have to choose the same colors. If you think putting maple brown mixed with pink for his beak is just ridiculous of me to do, you decide what color you want your beak to be. That's it. That's how fun this is. So I've lightened each egg to soften them just a little bit. Now I am going to outline each egg with a little bit of a darker color. So I used medium blue, and now I'm going to outline it with a darker blue. So this is peacock blue. And the lavender one is light lavender, and I'm going to outline it with my regular lavender, which is much darker. And my pink egg here is going to be outlined with a little bit of a darker pink. and it's going to look really, really nice when it's done. I'm also going to add in some of my homemade watercolors, metallic watercolors, and I'm going to fancy these eggs up just a smidgen. Just give them a little bit of glitter, and that glitter will be extremely noticeable when I seal it with resin. And you'll see that at the end. It's magical. So I have an outline around my lavender egg, and now I'm going to use some jungle green around my patina, just a little bit darker. And of course, my camera doesn't want to focus on that. It is giving me some attitude today. Now I'm going to dot. I'm just adding a couple of random speckles, white little speckles, which you can't see. How frustrating. They are there, guys. You'll see them after, but they're just random. Don't worry about how big your speckles are. If you don't want to speckle your eggs, you don't have to. I'm not even putting speckles all over the egg. It's just in certain areas I'm putting speckles, and there you go. They're random. Nothing fancy, nothing special. You do what you want. I think he's ready. No, I forgot to glitter. So this one has a little bit of blue and purple-ish, blue and greenish. So I'm going to put that on both my green and my blue egg. And then this one has some purple and pink glitter in it. So it's hard to see right now. It will be noticeable afterwards, I promise. It's gonna surprise you. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and it gives a whole new look to these little Easter eggs. And he's not very glittery, right? He's not too fancy, so I wanted to fancy up the eggs just a little bit. Now, to kind of make this finished off a little bit more, I'm adding a couple of little sprigs of grass in front of those eggs that we put there, so they look like they're resting in the grass. He almost has a little smirk on his face, like, yeah, I got out here early. The early duck catches the eggs. He's smiling and excited, although he probably won't like them. I don't think he will. We're going to see it resin very soon. See you in a minute. All right, I really did want to show you some stuff that I had at my desk, but that will be saved for the next tutorial. This guy really turned out super cute. I really like him. Peekaboo. Hope my camera stays in focus to show you how beautiful this is. Look at how cute. He does look mischievous. He might have stolen these eggs from some little kid. I had fun with this one, you guys. I will be back again in 2 days on Monday with a fresh one for you, and I will try to have more up and running over the next month or so. Work my butt off before the kids are home for the summer. I love you guys. Let me say it again just in case I haven't yet. I love you so much. You guys are amazing artists. All of you have an artist inside of you. I'm here to squeeze it out and to maybe even make you smile. Just want to let you know how much I care about you guys. I will be back very, very soon. Until then, keep painting and have a good day. Bye.